A light drizzle reigned in Shinjuku City on July 1st, 2030. For Mizuho Nishino, this was an awful birthday. Her boss wanted her to wrap up her serialized manga story by the end of the year. Overhearing a young female student laughing and chatting with her friends passing by, Mizu took notice. Seeing them brought back memories, and now she was stunned at seeing herself and her friends from 10 years ago. At that time, she never realized she had that same sparkling adolescence as well. Turning back time to July 1st of 2020, her room had blaring radio talking about the weather, pictures of her and her childhood friends, and sketches of her various manga panels. Coming in with lunch, her father screamed, seeing her asleep lying beside her childhood friend who was shirtless. He scolded her, but she just laughed, telling him not to worry because she just asked her friend to model for her. And besides, Kizuki was like a younger brother to her. With both Kizuki and her father taking their leave, she could tell her father must have forgotten it was her birthday. Mizu had 4 teenage childhood friends who she's grown up with in a neighborhood called Koegahama Highlands. She stepped outside to the 4 of them waiting for her as usual. They've always been so close that they couldn't hide anything from each other. She saw them as practically siblings who were all second-year high school students. Shugo teased her for going to school without makeup again, and trying to hide it wearing her dorky glasses. While she tried to tune him out, Airu suggested she be more ladylike. Shugo bet she was up late last night working on her manga again. Shin thought she should have been studying instead. She called him a nerd in response, but he warned her not to come crying to him before exams. However, she believed there were more important things, such as love and friendship. The friends bantered while riding the train. Mizu noticed Kizuki's backpack and called him too careless. She believed the only thing that's grown about him was his height. She thought of him as the baby of the group. Knowing practice resumed today, Airu teased Mizu, knowing she'd likely choose to watch her beloved Ryosuke after school. Time came, and she showed up to all the girls screaming as Kizuki took off his jacket to reveal his hot body. One of the girls got so excited, they accidentally knocked over her glasses, causing them to crack. So sad. She then overheard some girls talking about how Ryo wasn't here today, and now he's apparently quitting the swim team because there's no inter-high competition. She didn't want him to quit. She was surprised to find him waiting at the bus stop. The two chatted to the sound of seagulls squawking over the sunset. He then brought up how they both had bad luck, given classes were suddenly canceled because of some infectious disease. No school trip, no sports festival, no fireworks display. Everything was canceled. Even his swim practice and final meet. He questioned what all his effort was for. She then suddenly uttered she liked watching him have fun swimming. She intended to go to his final meet and confess her feelings to him. She knows she probably shouldn't have said that, but didn't believe it mattered now. With the bus coming in, she urged him to swim for his own sake. However, he just apologized, while telling her she couldn't understand how he felt, since she wasn't on the team. A cold response before leaving. It was over. Her one-sided love was over. This was an awful birthday. Later that night, having fallen asleep in the pool, Kizuki was woken up by Ryo calling out to him. Ryo was impressed by Kizuki's choice to continue practicing, despite them not knowing if they'd have any more meets. Kizuki had made a promise to himself, though, that if he ever made it to the final of the national meet, he'd tell her how he felt. He continued to push himself to get better until he achieved that. Hearing his words impressed Ryo so much, he's decided to practice again starting tomorrow. Ryo then told Kizuki about Mizu telling him she wanted to see him swim again. Kizuki's eyes widened hearing her name. Ryo knew the two were childhood friends, but Kizuki quickly interjected, saying they weren't childhood friends. To him, Mizuho was a girl. He told Ryo to leave her alone. Returning to her house, Mizu gave her, "I'm home," in a defeated voice. She saw the light on in her room, and was surprised to find her 4 friends wishing her a happy 17th birthday. The heartfelt kindness of childhood friends. It made her weep. Seeing her cry, the friends thought they had done something wrong, but she assured them she was happy. Airu snapped a photo, not wanting to forget this tearful birthday. Mizu got so mad, Shugo had to hold her back. However, Airu felt they needed pictures since there was no fireworks this year. Bringing her lit-up cake upstairs, she asked Kizuki what she should wish for blowing out the candles. But Kizuki asked if she was the only one who could make a wish. He shifted the conversation, stating she had been crying before she got home. She tried to deny it, but he could tell. So, after he blew out her candles, he admitted his wish was to become her boyfriend. This made her eyes glimmer and face turn red. At the time, she didn't realize in 2020 that she was surrounded by sparkling brilliance. After cheers, Shugo asked what the two of them were doing downstairs, causing Mizu to spit out her drink. Airu then teased that Kizuki must have asked her to marry him like Shugo used to. Shugo insisted he only did that before grade school when he still hadn't realized that girls other than Mizu existed. He started beating on Airu, telling him that was just the shameful past. Shin noticed Mizu's mouth was agape, offering her a napkin to wipe the cream off her face. But Kizuki did it with his finger instead, telling her she was like a kid before licking it from his finger. She gasped, and seeing this event, Shin felt like he was third wheeling here. Coming outside the next morning, the friends were awing over the fact Mizu wasn't wearing glasses anymore. She started wearing contacts now, and hearing them still teasing her for those glasses, she told them to shut up. The boys wanted Shin to say something, and while a bit flustered, he told her no matter what, she'd always be stupid, causing the friends to laugh. But he was shocked to see Kizuki calling her cute. She was flushed, because she couldn't handle the fact you haven't liked this video and subscribed to my channel yet. Why? Well, here at My Shoujo Weekly, I've got the most spicy romances for you to enjoy. I also live stream, where we talk about interesting topics and play fun games. So come on, hit that subscribe, I'll be your guide. Kizuki pissed her off. She felt like he was definitely making fun of her. She thought back to that event, and thought he was just trying to cheer her up because she had been crying. Cleaning the board, she couldn't reach the top, and suddenly found Kizuki's hand was placed on top of hers to assist. She contained her surprise this time. At lunch, with Kizuki feeding broccoli to Airu, all the students and faculty felt they just had to watch. Shugo told Kizuki not to feed him his broccoli just because he didn't like it. Chika questioned why Mizu wasn't eating with her usual group, but Mizu insisted she wanted to eat with her today. Bad idea though, because Chika knew the boys' groupies would come for her. Mizu dismissed that at first, but quickly found out Chika was right. Seeing two girls wanted her to give cookies they made to Kizuki, she wondered why they couldn't do it themselves. But the two were far too embarrassed, believing they couldn't even breathe or make eye contact with him. They handed her the cookies and ran away. Mizu wondered why though. She thought Kizuki was just a crybaby who held her hand and begged her not to go when they were little. Kizuki often missed school because of his asthma. Handing him her assignment notes, she'd often leave in her drawings to cheer him up. It made her happy when he laughed. He often called her an amazing genius, although the manga editorial manager called her work average. He wanted to see her write something only she could make, and wanted her to try writing a school romance in her own words. She didn't believe she could though, given her love life was hardly interesting and she lacked experience. He didn't think so though, given she was in high school, after all. He assumed she lived an exciting and sparkling adolescence every day. She still denied it, but his answer was that she probably didn't even realize it. Exiting into the lobby, she was feeling dejected over the editor rejecting everything. She was then surprised to find Airu, who received a lot of makeup from his editor. He could immediately tell something was wrong with her. Sitting for drinks at the waterside, he suggested she just draw a new manga, but was surprised to hear her ask if people really experienced heart-pounding excitement every day. Watching the fireworks display with her crush was her dream, but now that wasn't happening because of the infectious disease. Besides, Ryo rejected her as well. She then pulled out the cookies her classmate told her to give to Kizuki, and now Airu was asking if she didn't care about other girls approaching him. Why would she? To her, Kizuki was the crybaby of the group. Airu just sighed and told her to go give it to him now, saying he was still probably swimming at the pool. With him spotting her coming in, he got excited, asking if she wanted to go home together. She then gave him the cookies, getting him more excited initially, thinking she had made them, but she dispelled that idea, saying her classmates did. His mood quickly became somber, as he told her to give the cookies back. She chased after, asking what was wrong, and he asked, "Don't you care, Mizuho? Don't you care if I accept a gift like that?" She gasped, responding that she didn't, and began her leave. He then grabbed her arm to stop her, telling her not to go yet. He used to be smaller and weaker than her, but now she was trying to tug away, telling him to let go. She accidentally bumped into turning the water on, where the two were getting soaked under the shower. He then asked if she had ever thought of him as a man. She shook, responding, "No," again. So up close, he told her he was confident. He knew she'd fall in love with him. then suddenly went in for a kiss under the water. At her office building, present-day Mizuho consoled a young mangaka whose current work had just gotten cancelled. She proposed to the girl a story featuring themes of love and adolescence. The girl sighed in response, telling Mizu she'd been thinking of giving up on creating manga, because even with Mizu's suggestion, this young girl believes she's never experienced a sparkly love in adolescence. To this, Mizu told the girl she was still young and was certain she must be living an exciting and sparkling adolescence every day, suddenly realizing it was those very words her own editor had told her 10 years ago. She saw herself in this young girl. After that event, the days turned back to the mundane at school. Unable to shake that moment Kizuki kissed her in the shower, Mizu really didn't want to see him right now. She backed into the doorway, where Shin told her to move aside. Her classmates had a back and forth, calling him rude but cool, scary-faced, but a total hottie. Mizu didn't get his deal. That evening, the boys hung out in her room as usual, while Shin helped her study. He then pulled her face close to tease her for having forehead wrinkles. She pushed him off, asking what was with his attitude at school. He was going to garner a bad reputation because only his face got compliments. To this, he admitted if he acted friendlier with her, it'd be embarrassing for people to know they were close childhood friends, especially since she was an idiot who didn't know how to do her makeup. He then told her they'd review and fill her empty head at the library tomorrow. Kizuki then brought the two a drink, and asking about Mizu's studying, she immediately got flush with him near. She then got up to tell him if he was so bored, he could go fold laundry in the living room or something. Ugh, a girl couldn't even study in peace. She gasped, realizing what he might be doing, and rushing downstairs, she found him holding her bra. She tripped, trying to take it back, and somehow ended up under him. He stared eye to eye with a serious look. He was done. He wanted her to acknowledge him as a man already. However, she just wanted some space. This was too awkward. Luckily, he listened and actually walked away. The next day after school, he trained and washed up like usual. A storm began to brew. Shin then appeared to say hello, and we learned his student council meeting ran late, so he was going to meet with Mizu now. The thunder caused Mizu to shudder a little. Since it was raining, she wanted to go home, and texted Shin she was taking off. She rushed off into the rain, screaming when the thunder boomed. It brought back horrible memories she didn't want to think about. The day her father had her stay with Kizuki's family so he could take her mother to the hospital. Shin went to the library to look for Mizu, but she was already gone. Kizuki tried to console young Mizu, who was praying for her mother's safety. She wanted help in this rain. Shin continued to look for her, but it was Kizuki who came to her side. He told her everything was going to be okay now, and held her close. With the rain gone, he carried her on his back. Mizu felt she sure must have hit a low point to have a crybaby like him worry about her. He apologized, asking if she wanted to see Shin instead. She then uttered her hatred of thunder, because it reminded her of that day. Kizuki already knew. She then said, "I prefer you, Kizuki. I'm so grateful that you've been by my side since that day." He was stunned by her words, and when she got down, the two saw a rainbow over the beautiful golden waters. She now saw Kizuki was just as beautiful, so he came in close to tell her, "You fell for me just now, right?" And she covered his mouth, shrieking, I did not." The friends later enjoyed a clear blue sky and a refreshing breeze. But it was just a backyard. Today was their little pretend school trip, since their actual one to Hokkaido was cancelled. They then suddenly got sprayed with water because Kizuki accidentally stepped on the hose nozzle. So of course, Shugo had to retaliate. That evening camping out, Kizuki continued to train because he was really determined to beat his personal record at regionals. He told Mizu to come cheer for him again, and leaning on Airu, asking him to come too. Airu just got up, telling them it was time for bed. Trying to sleep, Mizu felt a little closed in, because Kizuki was right beside her. The friends had called her a spoiled princess for complaining about the flatness of the futon. However, he was fine with her acting spoiled with him, especially since they'd kissed already. She then screamed, waking them all up to Kizuki getting squashed under a pillow. Falling in love and then going out? Mizu felt she couldn't do that, because she didn't know what she'd do if this lifelong bond between her friends fell apart. After school, the girls screamed over how hot Kizuki was when he swam. Chika poked at Mizu for swooning over him too. She tried to deny it, But Chika questioned if she was sure she really had no feelings for him whatsoever, and suggested that maybe she hadn't realized it because they were always too close. Mizu spent that evening frustrated, throwing away another page she was working on. She didn't know what to do if she were to really fall for Kizuki. The next day, she saw the swim team in tears since their regionals were canceled over that virus going around. All the other clubs were getting their competitions canceled too. However, Kizuki was the only one not crying, but Mizu knew he was still sad. Kizuki later found her in class. She'd been waiting for him because she was worried. He tried to play off what had happened with a smile, acknowledging this year's goal was flushed down the drain, but she told him he could let it out. She acknowledged him for working so hard up to this point, and didn't want him to pretend like this summer never happened. As his tears welled up, he admitted he wished she hadn't said that. It was because of her he'd been holding back his tears this whole time. He cried on her shoulder, telling her she shouldn't say such nice things to him, or he'd cry even more. Despite this, he was going to continue to try his best, and asked her to keep watching. Returning to 2030, Mizu explained to Chika she had told the young writer the same thing she was told by her editor when she was young. The young writer had responded, "There was no guarantee that life would be dazzling." Chika laughed because Mizu had said something like that 10 years ago. The two agreed the young writer likely wouldn't believe Mizu, since they also didn't understand when they were young. However, Chika believed it was still best Mizu look out for the young girl while she went through the rocky times of adolescence. Walking home, Mizu reflected on how Chika used to always look out for her. Back then, Mizu was too young to understand how she really felt, and didn't notice the people she cared about had their own secrets. At this rate, Mizu was going to fall in love with Kizuki, but suddenly fell over, blacking out. Shugo and Airu wondered what was bothering her so much that she contracted a fever. They were flabbergasted, seeing Kizuki buying way too much. He put things like charging cables and mold remover in their basket. Not exactly the best get-well-soon gifts. Exiting the convenience store, Airu was shocked, being called out by some delinquents he used to hang out with. Shugo and Kizuki tried to get him to ignore them, but he stepped forward towards his old friends, who condescendingly expressed they were so sad when he ditched them. He coldly responded he was all good, thanks to them, leaving the delinquents behind. By the bridge, Airu shouted to let out his anger, lamenting over the idea he might never escape his past. Shugo told him to give it up, reminding Airu he was seriously such a bad guy in middle school, who had left them behind to go hang out with delinquents. He used to get into fights every day and skip school. They were just teasing though. They comforted him, saying he was really cool just now. They liked him then, and they liked him now. Airu hugged Kizuki, telling him that he liked them too, but with Shugo offering his hug, the two friends just walked right past him. After giving Mizu cold medicine, Shin checked on her forehead. Her fever was down a little. He moved his head close, nearly going for a kiss, but pulled back hearing her groan, thinking she might wake up. She did, still in a bit of a daze, so he told her to sleep more while turning off the lights and exiting. Outside the door, he wondered what he was doing. A while later, Mizu was good as new, not expecting to see Shin outside her house on a school day. The two walked along the shore view together, with Mizu surprised to learn he skipped school for the day. He then handed her fruit sandwiches, knowing she hadn't eaten anything yet, and proceeded to scold her for being unladylike by taking big bites out of her sandwich. She then took off her shoes to play in the water, despite having just gotten over her fever, but she begged him to play too. He asked what got her worried enough to get a fever, and she admitted to the small confusion she had with her own feelings. He then suddenly insulted her, and showed her a hug could help reaffirm feelings. He told her if she did this with someone and it made her heart race, it meant that she loved them. There was silence. Seagulls squawking, waves moving. His face was red. Then, with her telling him she couldn't breathe, she shoved him off, saying she couldn't do something like that. To this, he just called her stupid, and told her not to take it so seriously without showing his face. She got annoyed, claiming he was just picking on her because her love life was below average. But little did she know, he was still red in the face as he walked away. Back at her place, he helped wash the sand off her feet, when Kizuki suddenly walked in on them. Kizuki asked what they were doing, but Shin responded with, "Nothing." Before walking inside, Kizuki gently touched Mizu's head, asking if her fever had gone down, and she blushed, remembering Shin's words about heartbeats and hugs. Her eyes went a little out of focus, and she shuddered back, running away from him. She wondered why she was feeling this way. The friends later took a photo together at the aquarium. Aru commented that she looked quite cute, since he did her makeup and coordinated her outfit. Kizuki became fixated on his words. They all enjoyed the aquarium together, seeing various aquatic life. In a moment where Mizu and Kizuki were alone together, he brought up that she invited everyone to cheer him up for his swim meet being cancelled. He was thankful. He then suddenly told her she made his heart race, and that there was something different about her today. Oh man, she felt like her heart was about to shatter. Getting their food, Shugo teased Mizu for looking so nice today, questioning if she was going to go out somewhere after their hangout. He teased her for still not understanding her own feelings, because she was scared to know. It was easy for him to tell, considering how long they've been friends. Later, the group decided to go see the dolphins. Kizuki covered a particular big splash that was going to soak Mizu. She pushed him away, assuring him she was fine. And now, they were staring at each other, eye to eye, where he tells her he wanted to go out somewhere, just the two of them. Heading to the station, Shugo noticed his teacher laughing with another man. Mizu asked him if something was wrong, and he denied anything, just admitting he was in the same boat as her. On the train ride, Kizuki managed to sneak in holding hands with Mizu. She didn't answer him before, but he asked once again for it to just be the two of them. Mizu knew she was afraid to find out who she was in love with, but Kizuki's warmth made her heart race. He led her off the transit, leaving the rest of the friends behind. 2030. Mizu was about to knock out, but woke up because of Shinkai Stadium's fireworks festival. Aru texted her happy birthday, a pleasant message from her dear childhood friend. But then her jaw dropped when he reminded her next week was Koigahama's fireworks festival, which they had some fond memories for. Mizu watched the fireworks with someone she liked 10 years ago. The rest of the friends spotted Kizuki and Mizu walking away. Both Shugo and Aru chatted about how he always tried to monopolize Mizu now and when they were kids. He'd chase after her all like, "Mi-chan, Mi-chan." Shin didn't seem to share in their laughter, asking what was so good about that derp, referring to Mizuho. Mizu and Kizuki sat at a cafe, with her both flustered and unsure of how to proceed. He suddenly decided to try her drink. Calling it a date, he only made her more red. He then grabbed her hand, and she wished he'd spare her his innocent puppy eyes. He wanted to tell her there was a swim competition next Saturday, set up by the team's coach for the third year's send-off. He wanted her to come cheer him on, telling her, I need you very much." It was ever since that day when they were kids. She'd been gone for 2 weeks at that point, grieving the loss of her mother. Aru wanted to find a way for them to cheer her up, but first to leave was Shin, who had to head to his extra tutor classes. Shugo then consoled Kizuki for not qualifying for the swim team due to an asthma attack. He believed Kizuki would get it next time. Kizuki trained and trained, eventually leaving a note for Mizu to come watch him for tryouts again since he'd been working super hard. And she did. That day he finally passed. This encouraged her. That day, she told him she was going to school again starting the next day. This was the moment he fell in love with her. Exiting the cafe, some girls from another school were chatting him up, but they apologized for making his girlfriend wait. Ooh. He responded she wasn't his girlfriend, and at that moment, she wondered what she was expecting. Then, he hit them with, she's the person who'll be his girlfriend one day. Oh, that definitely made her heart restless. At Kamakura Station, Aru and Shugo were in disbelief that Shin took them to a bookstore. Shugo came up to him, teasing that he knew the reason why Shin was studying so hard. It was because of what happened to Mizu's mom. Shin never wanted to see Mizu look that sad again. Shugo knew that was why Shin decided to become a doctor, so he held his friend and called him cute. He told Shin not to stress too hard, and that if he wanted something, he should just say what it is. Or she'll be taken by a guy whose only saving grace is his honesty. Shin sat down, understanding Shugo was right. It was annoying, but he was losing to Kizuki. With Kizuki and Mizu getting back on the train, Shin was waiting for them. He flicked Kizuki's head, scolding the two for just doing whatever they wanted. Mizu thought while the day was fun, she felt like something was missing. However, Kizuki answered straight that he didn't want to waste this summer. He wanted to do what he could, so that he could look back on the summer of 2020 and say it was great. It was silent for the moment. But then, Shin sat down next to them, arms folded, telling them even though they couldn't tell, He was in the prime of his youth too. Mizu was stunned, asking him if he was in love with someone from school, so he covered her mouth to stop her. But that didn't matter, since Kizuki had already fallen asleep. Continuing, Mizu expressed her wish for things to stay like when they were kids. However, Shin told her that was impossible. He would rather be an adult as soon as he could, than a kid who couldn't do anything. An adult who could protect the person he loved. Mizu always knew they couldn't stay like this forever. At a local preschool, the friends were drawing posters as their high school was organizing a fireworks viewing. The teacher, Kizuki's mother, was thankful since her son couldn't help out due to swim practice. The Koegahama Fireworks Festival got canceled this year, so the parents who volunteered have been actively involved in the event. They wanted to make sure the kids were really happy. Shugo then brought up how she was friends with Mizu's dad, referring to her as ma'am. She got serious, telling him to call her Miss Izumi. He was terrified. That aside, she thought Mizu's father was pretty cool. Sitting outside with ice cream, the friends discussed how the fireworks festival was the same day as Kizuki's swim meet. Airu asked Mizu if she was going to cheer for Ryo, since it was her dream to see the fireworks with someone she liked. She denied it. However, this didn't sit well with Shin. She wondered who she wanted to see the fireworks with. She later went to cheer Kizuki on, and he and Ryo actually got new personal bests. Mizu thought Kizuki was amazing. In the supply room, she gave him snack gifts from her and the rest of the friends, wishing him good luck on the remaining events. He then suddenly held her close, saying he heard her voice while he was swimming. Taking a deep breath here, he was replenished, ready to get through the final relay. Sitting down at the bench, Ryo mentioned they could actually go to nationals with their times if competition went as planned. Ryo then said he wished Mizu had come to cheer himself on. Kizuki didn't like that, so he challenged Ryo to a personal match after this competition. Elsewhere, Shin was directing the setup of the fireworks festival, finding Mizu's dad on the ground in pain. With Shin tending to him, Mr. Nishino remarked that he was amazing, good at studying, and on the student council too. Learning Shin was going to become a doctor, he then said it'd be a weight off his shoulders if his daughter married someone like Shin. Shin for some reason took this offhand comment to heart, asking the dad if he could propose to Mizu when he succeeded in becoming a doctor in the future. The dad was stunned by this. In the evening, the friends were viewing from the rooftop, but now wondered where Kizuki and Ryo were. It was at the pool. Kizuki braced himself. Ryo called for the 100-meter freestyle. With the people doing a 10 count for the fireworks to begin, Shin made sure Mizu was watching, letting her know that her dad organized most of this event. While the fireworks showered, Kizuki and Ryo were commencing their duel. Mizu went over to thank her father, who admitted he didn't know what to do to help cheer them all on. School events got canceled, and none of them ever dealt with a world event like this. He didn't want them to lose heart though, since their futures were full of possibilities. He knew they'd face countless failures, experience heartbreak countless times. But through all of that, he told her to never give up. Mizu's eyes welled staring up at the fireworks. There was a glittering sparkle in the depths of her heart. She'd never seen fireworks like this, and wondered if Kizuki was watching too. Airu came by to wipe her tears, suggesting that Kizuki was probably still at the pool, asking if she was sure she wanted to stay here. We moved to 2030. Dr. Shin is walking down the hall with a bouquet of flowers, while all the ladies at the hospital were charmed by him. At Mizu's place, she asked him what was going on. He simply responded that he'd been waiting for her. He got out of the car, patting her head, wishing her a happy birthday while calling her a derp like he always did. She brushed his hand off, saying she's had a lot on her mind, and he could come inside for some tea. He thought about pulling the bouquet to give to her, but before he could, he suddenly got an emergency call to return to the hospital. Mizu was thankful he'd come to see her. She knows things have changed a lot since they've grown. Driving back, seeing his flowers still in his back seat though, he lamented, feeling he hadn't really changed at all, since he'd been chasing after her forever. Witnessing the fireworks, Mizu ran out from the school roof. Shugo and Airu were glad, albeit believing her to be such a handful. She was out of breath, putting the swim team's break room to find Ryo. He was disappointed to find out she wasn't looking for him, but instead, Kizuki. He knew it had been a while since she confessed to him, but he thanked her. The encouragement she offered him at that time served him well. After saying his goodbye, he told her Kizuki won. Running to find Kizuki once more, she thought about how she had previously admired Ryo so much. Finding Kizuki sleeping in the pool, she jumped straight into the water, asking why he wasn't at the festival. She wanted to watch the fireworks with him. He grabbed her by the shoulders, but before he could answer, the fireworks gave a beautiful distraction. Mizu wanted him to be by her side forever. With things winding down, Kizuki teased her for jumping into the pool. He put a towel over her because she was soaking wet, and she took it to dry him off too. Sitting down face to face as she rubbed him down, he pulled her by the ribbon to ask her why she wanted to watch the fireworks with him. They both pulled in close, looking to go in for a kiss. But unfortunately, their friends interrupted the moment by calling out for him, so they had to hide nearby. Kizuki wanted Mizu to keep quiet. The friends had given up on looking. However, Shin spotted the pair of shoes left behind by Mizu and Kizuki. On another day, the friends were doing a little photo shoot for Airu's social media account. He was getting tons of likes. He snapped a photo of Mizu, laughing at her tired look of defeat. She got mad, wondering why they were doing shoots in her room. She was busy. There were only 20 days left until the newcomers' manga competition would commence. With Kizuki reading aloud, "You actually wanted to kiss me, didn't you?" From her rough draft, Mizu got flashbacks to them nearly kissing. She was embarrassed, shouting at him to give her draft back, while Shin was wary of their flirting. She tried her best to continue focusing on her work, but again, her friends just kept teasing her. That evening, Shugo entered her room, bringing the eraser and pen nibs she requested while mocking her. She was thankful but also wanted his help erasing the pencil marks. He then suddenly got a text that had him shaking. His brother was coming home from college for the summer. Shugo felt like his life was over, knowing his older brother was coming back. He made Togo's room into his personal storage. Seeing some dirty mags while cleaning up made Kizuki red, and Shugo assured the friends they were his brothers, not his. At the mall, girls were gawking over Airu, seeing as he was always all over their timelines. He was helping Mizu out with her outfit, was still in a panic with 17 days left until the competition. Coming out changed, Airu was speechless. She was super cute. Back cleaning up Togo's room, Shugo was recounting all the girls he had kissed throughout the school years. Shin didn't care much for that, considering he'd only kissed the person he loved, while Kizuki nodded in agreement. To this, Shugo told the two they wouldn't understand, since they were always the girl's first pick. He thought the real fun in romance was being the third choice, and that the true essence of love was unrequited love. He personally likes the girl who adores or falls for another boy, making him the one she doesn't fall for while remaining a good friend. The third choice. When things go terribly with the girl's first pick, who does she go to? Him, of course. That's when the girl realizes for the first time the great parts about him, and his love for her. He wanted to date all sorts of girls as much as he could until the day he died. However, Shin told her to just get back to cleaning. While Mizu was purchasing her new clothing, Airu overheard some of the girls from earlier calling Mizu full of herself for hanging out with him. He didn't take that kindly, standing in front to tell them Mizu was cute and his secret girlfriend. They were starstruck, hardly believing he would speak to them. He sighed, knowing even though he had just said that, he wasn't even a choice. With the sun setting, Mizu and Airu relaxed together. Thanks to him, she felt a lot better. It was like all the stress had been taken off for the time being. He then got up to ask who she watched the fireworks with, and hearing her answer, he then asked if she figured out her own feelings yet. She then posed a question towards him, wondering what he'd do if he had to figure out his own feelings. He responded he'd do nothing, knowing if he confessed to the person he liked, their current relationship would probably be destroyed. He'd rather just stay friends and be by her side forever. He was just happy to watch over them. Mizu took this to heart, wondering if she and Kizuki stayed friends, would he stay by her side? That night, the friends looked at their photos together, laughing and giggling, until Shugo picked up a particular photo. He went downstairs to get drinks. Staring at the photo of him and Mizu, he uttered he'd rather just be friends for now. Oh man, are things about to get spicy? Find out in next week's part by subscribing to my channel. For now though, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.